Right now, if you Google search Ray Epps, you will learn that he is suing Fox News for defamation. Strangely, omitted from all of these corporate press articles is the fact that Ray Epps' court document, his lawsuit, says he was informed that he will be criminally charged for his role on January 6th. He blames Tucker Carlson specifically for causing defamation and damage, which resulted in his prosecution. That's really, really fascinating. It's an interesting way to say crimes committed, allegedly, by this man, broadcast on TV, resulted in criminal charges. How is that defamation? You're literally about to be charged. If anything, including that in your lawsuit is actually beneficial to Tucker Carlson, because when you say he lied about me and made these claims and now I'm being criminally charged, like, wow. So you're saying that the DOJ has no justification and no evidence and nothing, no reason to charge you other than they just believe random things said by Tucker Carlson? Or how about our justice system requires at bare minimum a preponderance of evidence to get a criminal indictment? Interesting, to say the least. Now, I don't know what they're going to charge him with or how far it'll go. Some people say it'll be a slap on the wrist. But the news is that Ray Epps, according to his lawyer, is going to be charged. Now, why is it that all of these leftists and all of these liberals, they won't stop defending this guy? That's my only question. I don't know. Tucker Carlson asked a bunch of questions about whether or not this guy was a federal agent. I don't know about any of that stuff, man. All I know is this guy is on camera. I'll play the video for you, telling people to go inside the Capitol over and over again, saying he fears he will be arrested for inciting this, and then is at the front line on January 6th when the barricades are torn down and they rush the Capitol grounds. He's right there. If for some reason the media keeps defending him. My favorite component of the story is that all of a sudden you have these corporate press outlets referring to the insurrection, that they call it an insurrection, right, as a rally or a protest. Huh? You mean after all this time, what is going on with this guy? Serious question. Now, while many people who watch Tucker Carlson believe that he may be a federal agent, I think there's actually a simpler explanation for this. Ray Epps is a cooperating witness and informant. I don't know that's true. What I'm saying is, instead of coming out and claiming that he works for the feds or something, how about, simply put, he was wanted for his role in January 6th. They easily found him and said, you are going to help us identify and criminally charge other people. Otherwise, you go to prison, which is a common thing. I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know why this guy is being defended in the press. I don't know why he was being protected for so long, or they weren't charging him for so long. But I think it's possible he was just informing on people, like a cooperating witness. That seems to be likely, because how are they going to go after all of these other people on January 6th, bumbling dotards who walked into a building on the opposite side of the building where there was no violence? They're going to charge those people, lock them up. But then Ray Epps, the guy who literally tells people to go in and do it, they don't? Well, let's take a look at first the news. Ray Epps to be criminally charged for events on January 6th, his attorney says. The Daily Wire reports an attorney for Ray Epps, a man seen on video wearing a Trump hat during the J6 riot, says that his client has been informed by federal law enforcement officials they intend to charge him in connection with the events that day. In fact, they stated this in a court document, which is, I'm assuming they genuinely believe this to be true. You see, I'm phrasing it in a very particular way. They filed this lawsuit. I really don't think they're lying to the court that this thing is happening. We don't know if it means he will actually, in the long run, be charged. That's an important distinction, other than they are saying outright they have been informed he will be charged. The revelation was made in a lawsuit that Epps filed against Fox News on Wednesday that accused the network and former host Tucker Carlson of defaming him. Epps has long been accused by many of being an undercover federal agent who instigated some of the events on that day. He has strongly denied being a federal agent. And I'm not a big fan of that argument, that he was working for the FBI or something, or some kind of intelligence agency. If, and I'm being careful because I don't know, if there was anything, it's this guy was one of the most easily identifiable guys on January 6th. They go to him first and say, you will provide testimony and evidence against people we bring to you, and you will help us get charges. That's a common law enforcement tactic. Use one guy to get more guys. That makes more sense to me as to why he wasn't being charged. And now it makes sense to me in that regard as to why he is being charged. Take a look at this from the lawsuit. This is the document. It is case 123 CV document, blah, blah, blah. It is Epps complaint. Section 94 reads, finally, in May 2023, the Department of Justice notified Epps that it would seek to charge him criminally for events on January 6, 2021, 2.5 years later. The relentless attacks by Fox and Mr. Carlson and the resulting political pressure likely resulted in the criminal charges. I do think it's funny that this idea, the idea would be, if you were to believe Epps, he did what he did. He's on camera doing it. The cops talked to him and said, okay, you're free to go. You're the one person probably committing the most egregious crime of all on January 6th, the incitement, but we're letting you go. And then because of pressure, you know, I'm imagining Ray Epps sitting at home being like, leave me alone. I'm lucky to not have been charged. And then Tucker is like, he must be a Fed or maybe he might be. And then the Feds are like, well, I guess now we got to arrest him. I think it's funny. I refer to Tucker Carlson as sedition hunter because you got these people online that are taking photos and they're scouring the internet trying to find out who all these people are. They call themselves sedition hunters or whatever. But I'm sorry. Occam's razor suggests otherwise. It doesn't really make sense. That narrative makes no sense. Why would they've got people who are locked up without charge or trial right now, and it's been 2 years, 2.5 years. There are people in jail who have not been charged with any crime. Yet Ray Epps, sorry, something doesn't add up. They're going to say, although it is difficult to believe that the DOJ would have pursued this matter if Fox had not focused its lies on Epps, ultimately the criminal charges conclusively demonstrate the falsehood of the story that Mr. Carlson and Fox told about Epps. No, it doesn't. That is literally not true. And all this line has done, it's resulted in more people arguing that this is actually an intelligence. I kid you not. Some people are saying that the reason they're charging him is to try and wash away the fact that he is a federal agent, right? That's what they're saying. I'm not saying that. You see, I'm being very careful here. The argument is by charging him, it now may, well, of course he's not a federal agent. He was arrested. But that's literally what they do with agents. During Occupy Wall Street, interesting thing happened. There was this dude who was very active, and one day he gets arrested. And really funny thing happened. I'm leaving the subway, and I see this dude, and I'm like, oh, hey, it's so-and-so. And the cops grab him and throw him in a squad car and then drive off. And I went, whoa, what happened? I walked to the park, and they were like, hey, did you hear so-and-so got arrested? And I was like, you heard that already? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, wow, I just watched it happen. I figured I was the first person to find out. And they were like, what do you mean you just watched it happen? It just happened over here. And I was like, what do you mean it happened over by the subway station? No, it happened over here on the corner by the park. And I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. Apparently what had happened was this dude was at the park and the cops came and arrested him and then dropped him off somewhere else around the exact same time I came up and saw the guy and the cops grabbed him again and threw him in the car. Really weird. Really, really, really. No idea what it was. It could be cops trying to sow mistrust or whatever. But the general theory was that he's quote unquote arrested. And then they drive him around the block asking him, what's the plan? What are they doing today? Where are the protests? How many people are there? Have you seen this guy? And then once he informs on everybody, they let him out. Unfortunately for them, they let him out a few blocks away where I was. So they immediately were like, uh-oh, grab him, throw him back in. I don't exactly know what that story was all about. The point is, arrests are often used to obfuscate what their real plans are. In fact, it's extremely common. When they're extracting someone who is undercover, they literally arrest them. So this could be quite literally them being like, look, man, everybody believes you're a Fed. The only way we can get past this is if you are charged. Don't worry, we'll figure something out, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that's the case. All I can say is the simple Occam's razor thing. Ray Epps was not being charged for some reason, and due to public pressure, he now is being charged. So we'll see. But this is the story that is going viral. All the corporate press is running with it. All the liberals are talking about it. And where are the liberals bringing up the dudes being criminally charged? Pro-Trump protester Ray Epps files defamation suit against Fox News. Interesting. Here's Google. Take a look at this. You search Ray Epps. Go to news. Here's what you find. Ray Epps brings lawsuit against Fox. Ray Epps sues Fox News. Ray Epps sues Fox News. Pro-Trump protester Ray Epps sues Fox News. Fox News sued by defamation by two-time Trump voter Ray Epps. Trump voter sues. Fox News sued. Fox News sued. Fox News sued. Where is the Ray Epps being criminally charged? FBI director shoots down ludicrous January 6th conspiracy theory. Ray Epps preparing to sue Fox. I don't understand. When you go into the NBC article, for instance, they don't mention he's being charged. Well, I'm fairly certain, unless they've updated since I. No charges. I mean, what is this? Maybe prosecute. Nope. I haven't seen a single corporate press outlet mention this fact. The only outlet that I've seen mention it, the Daily Wire. Ray Epps to be criminally charged for events on January 6th. Attorney says you pull up the court document. This is Exhibit A. In the Superior Court of the State of Delaware, James Ray Epps Sr. versus Fox News Network defendant. They go on to mention all this. You do a simple search for charges, and you find Section 94. In May 23, the Department of Justice notified Epps that it would seek to charge him criminally for events on January 6. All right, let's pull up some video. We got Darren Beatty here. I want to play this video for you from January 6 so you can understand why this guy should have been criminally charged, because maybe some people are not familiar with it. Oh, yeah, I always got to fix the audio. Let's make sure we get the appropriate audio and play this.
We need to go into the Capitol. Into the Capitol. What?
No. No.
Peacefully. Fed. Tomorrow.
Real quick, I do want to point out that's Baked Alaska, his name right here in the front, who begins the chant "Fed" at this guy for saying to go in the Capitol. And then Baked Alaska went in the Capitol and got criminally charged for it.
Oh, peacefully. Fed. Tomorrow, I don't even like to say it because I'll be arrested.
Well, let's not say it.
We need to go. I'll say it.
All right.
We need to go in.
Shut the fuck up, Boomer.
To the Capitol.
Based Fed posting? All right. We need to go into the Capitol. I didn't see that coming. Okay.
Not speaking. We are going to the Capitol, where our problems are. It's that direction. Please spread the word. All right, noted. Okay, but one more thing.
Yeah, so can we go up there? No?
When we go in,
Are we going to get arrested if we
leave
go
this
up there?
here. Yeah. You don't need to get
Did you
shot.
arrest us all?
So this video here, I'm going to explain it because some people may just be listening. Ray Epps is at the front line of the barricades on the Capitol grounds. He's seen whispering into someone's ear, and then a few seconds later, they storm the barricades, and Ray Epps is on the front line as they rush up the stairs onto the Capitol grounds. Let's go. I don't know who is yelling all that, but interesting to say the least. There's no argument from the left as to why this man was not charged. I don't see even people posting about it. The Krasensteins, for instance, Ed Krasenstein put up a tweet. He's a liberal guy, if you don't know who he is. Put up a tweet where he said Epps is suing Fox News. And I'm like, no mention of Ray Epps being criminally charged. Why? Well, the thing is about people who live in a liberal bubble, they don't know. Because they're reading NBC, they didn't see this. If you read NBC and you read Daily Wire, you would know that Ray Epps expects to be criminally charged. If you actually looked into the legal documents for the lawsuit, you would see that they say they expect him to be criminally charged. I like this one from Jack Basobic. Check us out. Receipts. WAPO, New York Times, Bloomberg, and Rolling Stone are now referring to January 6th as an insurrection, are now not referring to January 6th as an insurrection or even a riot because they're now defending Ray Epps. Well, Jack is wrong in one area. Let me read this for you. He's mostly correct, though. Ray Epps attended the pro-Trump rallies in Washington in January 21. Oh, I love it. No longer is it an insurrection. The pro-Trump rallies, plural. Yeah, there were two. There were two formal rallies, one at the Capitol and one at the, what is it called, the Ellipse or whatever. So, interesting. Outside of the Capitol building, there was a permitted rally. Permitted. Where many people were speaking. And because of this, many people were criminally charged because they did not know what was going on. Violence was on one side, very bad. Those people should be charged. And then there were people like Dr. Simone Gold who were giving a speech at a permitted rally at the Capitol. And then, well, they went in the building they shouldn't have. Amazingly, Alex Jones is on video saying, do not go in. Stop. Trying to warn people. Alex Jones knew. He knew. Take a look at this. He attended the pro-Trump rallies in Washington, but was not among the people found to have breached the Capitol building and has not been charged for his conduct in subsequent weeks. Really, really amazing. Brandon Strzok, my understanding is, did not enter the building. He was criminally charged. There are many individuals who did not breach the building who were criminally charged. Ray Epps incited people over 24 hours or however many hours it was to go in, was at the front line when they breached the barricades to enter the Capitol grounds. And now they say he is expected to be charged. Washington Post, what's all this about? Here's the New York Times. What's known about the man, a two-time Trump voter, Ray Epps, is that he took part in demonstrations in Washington that day and the night before. Whoa. Demonstrations. Okay. Now I understand why people think this guy is a Fed. Because even when they expect him to be charged, the media all of a sudden wipes out the narrative of insurrection and will say whatever to make sure this guy is not viewed negatively. Why? If there is anything to be said of Ray Epps, it is that he is the principal figure in the incitement of January 6th. And if you want to argue Donald Trump is, fine. Let's just call Ray Epps number 2. The guy on camera telling people explicitly to go in the building. That's amazing. Oh, but they'll protect him. Here we go. Bloomberg reports a former Marine who voted for Donald Trump and joined the January 6, 2021 protests. I love it. You got to be kidding me. What the is this? Wow. What a world that we live in. I got to tell you. Rolling Stone. In the aftermath of the events of January 6, Fox News searched for a scapegoat to blame other than Donald Trump or the Republican Party, the suit reads. Eventually, they turned on one of their own, telling a fantastical story in which Ray Epps, who was a Trump supporter who participated in the protests on January 6, full stop. This is where I got a correction for Jack and partial correction, or I'll say straight up correction for us. This is a quote from the lawsuit. Let me make sure in the aftermath. We'll do a quick search to verify. Right. So here it is right here. It's the opening statement, section 1 of the complaint. This is a quote from the lawsuit. This is not Rolling Stone saying it was a protest. This is Ray Epps' legal team saying it was a protest. All right. That I understand. You know, like they're being charged, not going to call it an insurrection. So that's the one thing I think needs correcting, and probably our fault, because last night when we were reading this, we all laughed and said they're calling it a protest. And we went from insurrection to riot to protest very, very quickly. But Jack is correct in it. So this is our fault from Timcast IRL. Jack probably saw that and then assumed it was a statement from Rolling Stone. However, Jack then confirmed through Washington Post, New York Times, and Bloomberg, they're actually now calling it a demonstration, a rally, or a protest. That I find truly, truly amazing. Does he have any more in this? No, just these 4. He tweets, "Don't worry, it will be back to an insurrection when Trump gets charged for seditious conspiracy by the Biden DOJ before the end of the year." Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting world that we live in. Greg Price breaks it down very well. Ray Epps saying, quote, "We need to go in the Capitol. FBI, we're arresting everyone who was near the Capitol except the guy who told people to go in the building." Yo, Ray Epps is on video at the front line where they breached the barricades. Tucker Carlson. Why has this guy who told people several times to go into the Capitol not been arrested? Media. Tucker Carlson is promoting conspiracy theories. Ray Epps, I'm suing Tucker. What an interesting time to be alive. As they say, may you live in interesting times. I got a conspiracy theory for you. I got 2 of them. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was confronted by Alex Stein. Afterwards, he called her a big booty Latina. Afterwards, she lamented the fact that there's no security in the Capitol grounds, and she wondered why it was that some police appeared to be working with protesters. Something to that effect on January 6th. She's right. There are videos of police opening the doors to the Capitol, saying they don't agree with it, but they respect it. There's videos of police taking selfies with the people who are walking in the building. Certainly, these people don't think they're doing anything wrong if the cops are facilitating them walking in the building, right? Very weird. AOC pointed this out. So here's a conspiracy for you. Maybe The police were in on it. Well, thank you for that one, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I don't exactly know what really happened, but I got another conspiracy for you. This one's even better. AOC went on Instagram and claimed that at a certain point on January 6th, there was a knock on her door and she got scared, thinking, oh no, did they find me? Oh, geez. She went to the bathroom. She hid. Someone enters the room and goes, where is she? Where is she? That's actually how AOC described it. And she feared for her life. She thought she was going to die. Turns out it was a cop evacuating the building. Here's the best part. When she told this story, the immediate reaction from conservatives was, wait a minute, AOC's office is not in the Capitol building. The media responded, no, there are tunnels that connect the entire complex. So AOC must have assumed that they made their way through the tunnels. Don't worry. Apparently, I was the only one at the time who actually did the time, actually tracked the timeline of events for January 6th. Turns out, AOC's story, as she described it, took place 1 hour before the Capitol had been breached. So why would she think anybody got into the Capitol? That makes no sense. Nobody expected this to happen. Or did they? One of the conspiracy theories, and I'm not suggesting this, I'm being a bit facetious. One of the conspiracy theories is that this was pre-planned in advance. You see Ray Epps telling people to go in. They knew there was going to be a breach of the Capitol. If AOC knew in advance, her story makes sense. If someone went to AOC and says, heads up, the protesters are going to come in the building, they're going to let them in, just so you know, her story makes sense. There's a simple explanation. AOC is a liar, and she was lying for internet drama points. But it's a weird thing to lie about. It's weirdly specific. It is. That someone knocked on her door, because what if she wasn't really lying? What if she actually knew in advance that people would breach the Capitol, and they warned her? I got to be honest. The likely scenario is that AOC is a liar. That's it. But take your pick. Either AOC had advanced knowledge of what was going to happen, or she's a liar. That's it. For real. Pick one. I don't know. I don't know about what happened. All I know is the whole circumstance is very strange. Trump apparently offered more law enforcement, National Guard. They did not accept it. There's a video of a man walking up to cops being like, why won't you stop this? Why are you letting this happen? And the cops completely ignore him. It is weird, isn't it? But I will tell you one simple fact as it pertains to PR and strategy. Donald Trump could have won 2020 very, very easily in one move. On May 29th, 2020, far left extremists tore down the barricades at the White House, set fire to St. John's Church, and firebombed a guard post. Donald Trump, the president at the time, was forced into an emergency bunker in the White House. What ended up happening? Law enforcement swept out the extremists, pushed them out, shut it down. Here's how politics works. If Donald Trump ordered the police to stand down and let the far left run rampant, he'd be president. No question. Why? Because what would have happened is the fence at the White House would be torn down by far left extremists. St. John's Church would have been burnt to the ground. The president would be hiding in a bunker. Donald Trump doesn't understand this. He didn't want to look weak. He even lied about being in the bunker. Oh, we're just taking a look at it. Apparently, they were down there for like 45 minutes. If the far left extremists succeeded in tearing down the fencing and destroying buildings, the narrative would have been far left extremists ransack White House. That would have been the insurrection. And Trump would have come out and said, easily explaining how it happened, when the protests started in D.C., we respected their right to free speech. We had no reason to believe that far left terrorists would try and destroy and burn down churches and tear out fencing and things of that sort. When it got to the point where we realized what was happening, we feared the loss of life would be too great. And the smartest thing we could do was shore up the defenses on the White House and not take a confrontational approach with the extremists who had been riding through D.C. But Trump and his administration did not understand politics because this is how they do it. Oh, no. Oh, geez, we're being attacked. Think about January 6th. How were these people able to breach the Capitol building? Where were law enforcement, National Guard? Apparently, on May 29th, there was no problem for the police to stop the far left extremists in the thousands who were throwing firebombs. But on January 6th, the police could do nothing to stop 1,000. I think it was like 800 Trump supporters who got in the building. Let's say 1,000. And there were more outside, don't get me wrong. There were hundreds of thousands of Trump supporters there that day. But at the Capitol, no. They were at the rally. There were a few thousand at the Capitol. My point is simply this. I don't know what happened or why it happened. It just did. Simply, though, if on May 29th, the Trump administration allowed the far left extremists to ransack these buildings and then just feigned, oh, we were overwhelmed. We were overwhelmed and we don't want people to get hurt. Then the narrative would have been the far left is dangerous. People in D.C. would demand justice for their destroyed buildings. They would say, how did this happen? Yeah, they'd be mad at Trump. They'd say, how did you let this happen? And he would say, these were Antifa and far left protesters. Where was the mayor? Where were the police? That's the narrative. Instead, the narrative is Donald Trump led an insurrection, at least from them. That's how it works, I suppose. Maybe that's why Ray Epps was inciting violence, and that's why people think he's a Fed. No idea. None whatsoever. Show me the evidence. For the time being, I wonder why it is the media is not reporting the dude expects to be criminally charged. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.